Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I have got a really quick spread here in my pandemic memory journal. So this double spread was initiated by this one journaling card which said things that changed in my daily life since the pandemic began. And I think the one thing, this is going to be sort of like a personal story kind of thing that I wanted to document. This is the one thing that really affected me or that I really noticed during this whole pandemic time. And that is the how empty the stores were, and how some stores or shops or cafes chose to close down. I took some photos as I saw these events unfold in my life, and this is the layout that I wanted to document them. So what I'm doing is I'm grabbing a color yellow, and I am going to put down some paint on the left-hand side of the first double spread and the right-hand side of the second spread, leaving that middle page blank, because what I'm going to do is I'm gonna adhere that journaling card right in the center, about in the center, and I'm going to cut off the top excess and the bottom excess. And I did decide to just rip it out because the book is just so well made that you can rip it out without it destroying the spine of the book. And I cut off the excess to the right. There is a little bit of an excess to the left, and I chose to cover that up with the pandemic paper, which seemed very appropriate. I do have something in mind. I just showed that coronavirus black and yellow element, and so I decided that I was going to follow a black and yellow scheme in this layout. But before I go ahead and get started into that, I did want to mat my photos. So for this, I just used the papers that came in the collection pad. One of the great things of using papers in matching collection pads is that they all go well together, and you're using the same theme. So as the theme kind of gets you into the mood of whatever you're scrapping about or journaling about, you can just use those papers to inspire you as you get into the mood of creating. So I have 4 pictures here in total, and I decided to sort of group them into 2 stages. So the first 2 pages are pictures of empty shelves, and I did take pictures of empty shelves in every single store that I went to, but I wasn't going to document them because that's all they were, just empty shelves. So I used one photo to depict, to give that sentiment. And in each of the photos, it always had, due to current pandemic or due to current circumstances, we are sorry we're out of this item. And so what I ended up doing was every time I'd go and get like one bag of sugar, I'd get a second bag of sugar and have one bag storage. And I set up like a little shelf in our garage. So I had one of everything. Like I had one of everything in my cupboard, and then I had one of like pasta, one of flour, one of sugar, one of tomato paste, one cereal. So the essentials that we always use as a backup. Now I usually don't have a backup in my normal life. I don't keep backups. I don't feel the need to, but in this case I just thought, just in case I couldn't find it as soon as we were out, at least we had a little bit to keep us going until I could find it. And then the second lot of photos was just one cafe that we usually go to. This is Miss Maud's in our local shopping center. And just as soon as I walked in on this one day and just saw, the lights were off, everything was closed down, and there's nobody there. It's usually a packed spot. And on this day, there was nobody there. The surrounding shops were closed. There was like nobody there. And it just felt so surreal. I took a photo, and this is the one photo that I wanted to document. Another photo that I added was the picture of the food hall. This place is never empty. You either have kids there or moms there or the elderly sitting there, and just they had it cordoned off with black and yellow caution tape, which is kind of what inspired the color scheme for this spread. So what I'm doing there is, after I matted each photo with patterned paper, I wanted to put a black cardstock mat, but I couldn't find my black cardstock. I know I have some, it wasn't anywhere where it's supposed to be. I just grabbed some craft cardstock and I used my black pen to go around the edges to, make it look black. And then I backed everything up with the mock black cardstock. That way the pictures sort of had a little bit of color around them, and then they looked really nice matted against the yellow background, which I'm going to adhere them to. Time now for a border, and I've got some black paint on the side there, and I'm using one of Diane Reevely's border stencils, and I'm doing a little bit of a dash border, and I'm making sure that I'm making sure that I'm doing one side at a time and then drying it. I've had problems smearing stuff in the past just because I've been rushing and wanting to get the whole thing done. So I really wanted to take my time here. Black acrylic paint, usually if you put it down thin enough, it's pretty dry within, let's say, 10 seconds, 20 seconds. But I just wanted to make sure that everything was dry before I moved on to the next stage. So these stencils are pretty amazing. They are designed especially for that dialogue insert, so they reach most of they do most of the border. It's just in one instance you have to shift it just a tad to the right and to the left to fill that last circle. Totally love the stencil set. I am looking for the second set. They're so hard to find now during, with all the availability of stuff online. So I'm keeping my eyes open, and I've got Aunty Vera searching for me as well. So if you're after some stencil sets, try to find these ones. They're really, really good. So I totally love that. That's a great look. Black and yellow looks really good, and I do make sure that I give everything a nice wipe and a clean before I put it away. It just keeps everything looking really nice and neat. So on to gluing everything down. I am still using that Tombow Aqua mono glue, and I've just put down this little bit of a card on the edge there just so that nothing oozes out and sticks the flip out to the pictures. I didn't want the pictures to smear or to be stripped of the ink. And I'm using double-sided tape here as well as the mono glue, and that's because sometimes when you're just using the wet glue, it slips and slides all over the place till it adheres, and I just wanted to make sure that once it goes down, it gets stuck down with the double-sided glue, and then the mono glue can take its time to dry, and then it's stuck forever. I really love how that looks, and it's now time to put a little bit of something inside each of those boxes. So I'm reaching for my white Signo pen, and all I'm writing is just the word Corona in each of those rectangles. And so I thought about what I could do for the circles, and I remembered that virus stamp, which I love so much in the stamp set. So I'm reaching for my antique linen in Distress Oxide, and I am just splatting, so to speak, just stamping the virus in each of these circles. I just love how that looks. And then I ended up just putting the virus sort of here, there, and everywhere, because you can have a virus at the store, you can have a virus in the food hall, you can have a virus at the cafe, I don't know. So I do like the light color of the antique linen, so it didn't clash too much with the background. And then I thought it looked kind of clean. So if you have a quick look here, I did use like a grid stamp, and I kind of put it around the background. Not so sure how this looks, but it's fine, no big deal. I'm not gonna worry about it. So then all I have to do is just do my journaling, and I basically just said what I said earlier about the shelves being empty at Spudshed and at Aldi and at Woolworths and at Kohl's. And yeah, I wrote down how I felt. And I did leave the back of that interactive page clear, like as in I didn't mat anything down. I left it in the lined paper from the actual insert because I thought it was just a good journaling spot. And so I did some more journaling on the back, had a lot to say, and yeah, wanted to document that. And that is about it. This was a very simple page. It came together really quickly. This is kind of the stuff I want to be doing more of. I want to be able to just take a picture of a memory or a cool day that you have, and then just take it to your insert, do a quick color on the page, do a little bit of something on the border, slap your photo down, write some journaling, and done. We're done in like 20 minutes. This page really only took me about 20 minutes, and so it's simple, no big deal, but ever so effective at recording your memories. So yeah, it's something I hope to do more of. So thank you so much for joining me, everybody, and I'll see you in my next video, because the next one is the much anticipated toilet paper episode. I'll see you then.